Molecular assembler. Nanofactories. A nanofactory is a proposed system in which nanomachines resembling molecular assemblers or industrial robot arms would combine reactive molecules via mechanosynthesis to build larger atomically precise parts. These, in turn, would be assembled by positioning mechanisms of assorted sizes to build macroscopic visible, but still atomically precise products. A typical nanofactory would fit in a desktop box, in the vision of K. Eric Drexler, published in Nanosystems, Molecular Machinery, Manufacturing and Computation 1992, a notable work of exploratory engineering. During the 1990s, others have extended the nanofactory concept, including an analysis of nanofactory convergent assembly by Ralph Merkle, a systems design of a replicating nanofactory architecture by J. Storrs Hall, Forrest Bishop's Universal Assembler, the patented exponential assembly process by Xivex, and a top-level systems design. All of these nanofactory designs and more are summarized in Chapter 4 of Kinematic Self-Replicating Machines 2004 by Robert Freitas and Ralph Merkle. The Nanofactory Collaboration, founded by Freitas and Merkle in 2000, is a focused, ongoing effort involving 23 researchers from 10 organizations and 4 countries that is developing a practical research agenda specifically aimed at positionally controlled diamond mechanosynthesis and then, in 2005, a computer-animated short film of the nanofactory concept was produced by John Birch in collaboration with Drexler. Such visions have been the subject of much debate on several intellectual levels. No one has discovered an insurmountable problem with the underlying theories, and no one has proved that the theories can be translated into practice. However, the debate continues, with some of it being summarized in the Molecular Nanotechnology article. If nanofactories could be built, severe disruption to the world economy would be one of many possible negative impacts, though it could be argued that this disruption would have little negative effect if everyone had such nanofactories. Great benefits also would be anticipated. Various works of science fiction have explored these and similar concepts. The potential for such devices was part of the mandate of a major UK study led by mechanical engineering professor Dame Ann Dowling. Self-replication. Molecular assemblers have been confused with self-replicating machines. To produce a practical quantity of a desired product, the nanoscale size of a typical science fiction universal molecular assembler requires an extremely large number of such devices. However, a single such theoretical molecular assembler might be programmed to self-replicate, constructing many copies of itself. This would allow an exponential rate of production. Then, after sufficient quantities of the molecular assemblers were available, they would then be reprogrammed for production of the desired product. However, if self-replication of molecular assemblers were not restrained, then it might lead to competition with naturally occurring organisms. This has been called ecophagy, or the gray goo problem. One method to building molecular assemblers is to mimic evolutionary processes employed by biological systems. Biological evolution proceeds by random variation combined with culling of the less successful variants and reproduction of the more successful variants. Production of complex molecular assemblers might be evolved from simpler systems, since a complex system that works is invariably found to have evolved from a simple system that worked. However, most published safety guidelines include recommendations against developing replicator designs which permit surviving mutation or undergoing evolution. Most assembler designs keep the source code external to the physical assembler. At each step of a manufacturing process, that step is read from an ordinary computer file and broadcast to all the assemblers. If any assembler gets out of range of that computer, or when the link between that computer and the assemblers is broken, or when that computer is unplugged, the assemblers stop replicating. Such a broadcast architecture is one of the safety features recommended by the Foresight Guidelines on Molecular Nanotechnology, and a map of the 137 dimensional replicator design space recently published by Freitas and Merkel provides numerous practical methods by which replicators can be safely controlled by good design. Drexler and Smalley debate. One of the most outspoken critics of some concepts of molecular assemblers was Professor Richard Smalley, 1943-2005, who won the Nobel Prize for his contributions to the field of nanotechnology. Smalley believed that such assemblers were not physically possible and introduced scientific objections to them. His two principal technical objections were termed the fat fingers problem and the sticky fingers problem. He believed these would exclude the possibility of molecular assemblers that worked by precision picking and placing of individual atoms. Drexler and co-workers responded to these two issues in a 2001 publication. Smalley also believed that Drexler's speculations about apocalyptic dangers of self-replicating machines that have been equated with molecular assemblers would threaten the public support for development of nanotechnology. To address the debate between Drexler and Smalley regarding molecular assemblers, Chemical and Engineering News published a point-counterpoint consisting of an exchange of letters that addressed the issues. Regulation. Speculation on the power of systems that have been called molecular assemblers has sparked a wider political discussion on the implication of nanotechnology. This is in part due to the fact that nanotechnology is a very broad term and could include molecular assemblers. Discussion of the possible implications of fantastic molecular assemblers has prompted calls for regulation of current and future nanotechnology. There are very real concerns with the potential health and ecological impact of nanotechnology that is being integrated in manufactured products. Greenpeace, for instance, commissioned a report concerning nanotechnology in which they express concern into the toxicity of nanomaterials that have been introduced in the environment. However, it makes only passing references to assembler technology. The UK Royal Society and Royal Academy of Engineering also commissioned a report entitled Nanoscience and Nanotechnologies, Opportunities and Uncertainties regarding the larger social and ecological implications on nanotechnology. This report does not discuss the threat posed by potential so-called molecular assemblers. Formal scientific review. In 2006, U.S. National Academy of Sciences released the report of a study of molecular manufacturing as part of a longer report, A Matter of Size, triennial review of the National Nanotechnology Initiative. The study committee reviewed the technical content of nanosystems and, in its conclusion, states that no current theoretical analysis can be considered definitive. It recommends experimental research to advance knowledge in this area. Although theoretical calculations can be made today, the eventually attainable range of chemical reaction cycles, error rates, speed of operation, and thermodynamic efficiencies of such bottom-up manufacturing systems cannot be reliably predicted at this time. Thus, the eventually attainable perfection and complexity of manufactured products, while they can gray goo. One potential scenario that has been envisioned is out-of-control self-replicating molecular assemblers in the form of gray goo, which consumes carbon to continue its replication. If unchecked, such mechanical replication could potentially consume whole ecoregions or the whole Earth ecophagy, or it could simply outcompete natural life forms for necessary resources such as carbon, or UV light, which some nanomotor examples run on. However, the ecophagy and gray goo scenarios, like synthetic molecular assemblers, are based upon still hypothetical technologies that have not yet been demonstrated experimentally.